Every year, 150,000 children die globally from different forms of abuse. However, how smacking children are classified as abuse is different between countries. According to an American study, 80% of all child abuse is done by the parents. In that figure, no sexual abuse is included. There are different forms of ways to smack children. Some example of action against children who are or have been allowed is mainly in school and in homes, to beat and hit from the educative and raising purpose.
A study carried out on behalf of the UN shows that 80% of all the world's children were subjected to domestic violence. In schools worldwide, violence is a part of the children's everyday life. As you can see on this map, the light-colored countries is the ones who has banned the right to smack children, of the world, 80% of all states has no law against smacking children in the purpose of raising. Save the Children International has been working many years for violence against smacking children to be banned through the world. But despite the fact that several countries followed, it's still legal to use physical and mental punishment inside the walls of the homes in most of the world's countries.
During the 1970s, children's law began to be debated seriously in Sweden. Unlike adults, children had no protection from being hit. In March 1971, a 3-year-old girl was killed by her stepdad in a suburb of Stockholm. The girl's death leads to strong reactions, including an exhibition at the Stockholm Culture House with black and white pictures showing children who have been exposed to adult violence. It was the starting point of BRIS, the Organization of Children's Rights in Society. It was formed in September 1971, whose main goal is to keep children safe. In 1980, BRIS Children's Support Phone opens, which is later developed by a chat and email. Sweden were active in the campaign, which led to that Sweden was the very first country in the world to get law against smacking children. The law was not taken seriously by the outside world, but today 52 countries have laws on children's rights. In 1979, the law against smacking children was first put into the law book in Sweden, the first law of its kind.
For and against smacking children. 4. People that argument that smacking children is right advocate for a more commanding education style, meaning that a child develops best by reverting good behavior and bad behavior. The results from studies in the subject are not quite either for or against discipline. Advocates often consider that beating children does not give negative long-term consequences to a greater extent than alternative methods. One argument is that the matter is quick to implement with other penalties, such as grounding, negatively affect the child for a longer time. Advocates also argument that hitting children is not the same thing as ill-treat children, but only to raise them.
Against people that are against smacking children argument that numbers of studies have shown increased risk of difficult development for the child as a result of bodily punishment. Problems associated with hitting children are increased aggression, mental health problems, reduced cognitive development, and drug and alcohol abuse. According to opponents' suggestion, the degrading experience can create internal wounds and create a need to give in other ways. Smacking children, according to opponents, can make people feel worse. A 2002 study that analyzed 60 years of scientific studies on children's law concluded that smacking children had a number of disadvantages and no benefits other than punish in a fast way.
Thank you for listening.